Good evening. My name is Keenan Jones, fourth grade teacher at Tanglin Elementary School. I'd like to welcome you to our second annual African American Read-In hosted by Hopkins Public Schools. You're in for a treat tonight. We have some incredible readers reading some incredible African American literature, and we're just very thankful that you're taking time out of your evening to spend it with us in our district and our community members. So, a few things about the African American Read-In. I'll go in and just talk a little bit about how it started. So the African American Read-In is a groundbreaking effort to encourage communities to read together, centering African American books and authors. It was established in 1990 by the Black Caucus of the National Council Teachers of English to make literacy a significant part of Black History Month. The initiative has reached more than 6 million participants around the world. A little backstory about why this event was brought to Hopkins in the state of Minnesota. I myself, I'm a member of the National Council of Teachers of English, and a few years back I came across a link talking about the African American Read-In, and I thought to myself, wow, this sounds like an incredible event to showcase literacy as well as African American literacy. They have a map where they show all the participants across the United States of America. And I scrolled to the state of Minnesota and I saw that over the past 10 years there's only been one or two events. And I just thought to myself, what can I do to make a change? What can I do to put Minnesota on the map? Because we have powerful voices, we have powerful African Americans, and we value literacy here in Minnesota as well. So last year we were able to host an event in collaboration with the Hopkins Public Library that just exceeded expectations. Unfortunately, due to COVID, we have to do a virtual event, but that's okay. Here at Hopkins, we don't complain, we just get it done. A few housekeeping items for tonight. The chat will be on, but we just ask that you're very respectful and keep your comments positive. We have students that will be reading as well. Students will be tuning in, so we just want to make sure that we're keeping everything clean. There also will be an attendance form that will be popping up in the chat with a link on there as well to take attendance, but there's also opportunities for some free book giveaways. Most importantly, when you're in the chat, you can go ahead and put that emoji hand clap in there, say yay, whatever you feel like to do to celebrate these great, powerful voices that are going to be reading some incredible literature for you this evening. With that being said, let's get the show on the road. So first up, we have Valerie McWilliams-Jones, who I must say is my mother, who will be reading a piece from Usini Eugene Perkins called Hey Black Child.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Valerie McWilliams-Jones. I am going to be reciting a monologue, Hey Black Child, by Usini Eugene Perkins. Hey Black Child, do you know who you are? Who you really are? Do you know you can be what you want to be if you try to be what you can be? Hey Black Child, do you know where you're going? Where you're really going? Do you know you can learn what you want to learn if you try to learn what you can learn? Hey Black Child, do you know you are strong? I mean really strong. Do you know you can do what you want to do if you try to do what you can do? Hey Black Child, be what you can be, learn what you must learn, Do what you can do, and tomorrow your nation will be what you want it to be. Thank you.
Mom, if you're watching, great job. Great job. Valerie McWilliams Jones is a teacher in the Osceola School District. Next up, we have one of our own, Nicole Fernandez from West Junior High, who will be reading one of my favorite authors, a piece from Walter Dean Myers called The Dragon Takes a Wife.
Nicole Fernandez. Hello, my name is Nicole Fernandez, and I'm happy to read to you The Dragon Takes a Wife by Walter Dean Myers, one of my favorite children's books. The Dragon Takes a Wife. Look at the beautiful illustrations by Fiona French. Once upon a time, in the ancient kingdom of Lyraland, lived a good but lonely dragon named Harry. Harry wanted a wife, but in Lyraland, the only way for Harry to get a wife was to prove his courage by winning a battle with the knight in shining armor. And Harry was not a good fighter. Each week, Harry would go to a clearing in the woods to fight the knight, and each week he would lose. Then he would go home and play sad songs on his flute. Harry knew he needed some help, so one day he went over to the other side of the kingdom where all the good fairies lived. "What's bugging you, baby?" says Mabel May Jones, one of the sweetest and kindest fairies in the kingdom. "Well," said Harry, a tear welling up in his great dragon eye, "each week, to prove my courage, I fight the knight in shining armor, and each week I lose. I get lonelier and lonelier, and I'd like to win one so I can get married and live happily ever after." "I can dig where you're coming from," said Mabel May. "What do you think would help you?" "Perhaps if you make my flame twice as hot as it is now," answered Harry, "I could win." "That ain't no big thing," said Mabel May Jones. "Dig on these magic words I'm going to say. When you go into battle, repeat them to yourself, and the magic will work." Mabel May waved her magic wand and said the magic words: "Fire grow red, fire grow bright. Turn Harry on so he can burn that night." Harry thanked Mabel May and went home. When the time came to fight the knight, he again went to the clearing in the woods. This time, when the knight came charging at him, Harry repeated the magic words to himself and breathed out as hard as he could. But instead of hot breath, polka dots came out of his mouth and up into the sky like balloons. The knight stuck Harry on the tail and rode back off into the woods. "Ow!" cried Harry. He went home and put a band-aid on his tail and played another sad song on his flute. The next morning, Harry went back to see Mabel May and told her what happened. "Well, chill out, honey. Ain't nobody perfect," she said. "Let's just try something new. Perhaps you can make me twice as big, Harry said. I can't get down with that. I can get down with that, said Mabel May. When this dude comes charging at you, you go into a serious super grow. That ought to blow that knight's mind. Then she waved her magic wand and said the magic words. Bigger is better and bigger is best. Knock that knight down and dance on his chest. The next week, Harry went to fight the knight again. When the knight charged, Harry thought of the magic words and suddenly grew twice as big. In fact, he grew so big that his head was off the page. With his head off the page, he couldn't see the knight. He could only see the sword striking his tail. As he ran away, "Ow!" cried Harry. When he got home, he put on 2 band-aids. "You're not so much of a fairy," Harry said when he went back to see Mabel May again. "I'm still losing." "Cool it, Harry," said Mabel May, one hand on her hip. "If you ain't got the strength to do the whipping or the speed to do the tipping, you don't need to be doing the lipping." "Well, okay," said Harry said, "but this time instead of making me bigger, how about making me invisible?" he says. "That sounds like a winner, Harry," said Mabel May. Then she waved her magic wand and said the magic words. "Make Harry disappear completely out of view. The knight will then be so confused he won't know what to do." When the time came to fight the knight again, Harry had a smile on his face. He watched the knight come closer and closer. When the knight was almost upon him, Harry repeated the magic words to himself and disappeared. That is, most of him disappeared. His tail still showed. The knight hit Harry's tail right between the 2 band-aids and rode off into the woods. Harry went back to see Mabel May again. I know," said Mabel May. "You got blown away again. Let's face it, baby. That knight can definitely take care of business." Mabel May covered her mouth with a giggle. "But you did look funny with just your tail showing like that." "Oh, I'll never win," moaned Harry. "Do you have any other ideas?" Harry thought for a moment. "How about a disguise so that I can trick the knight?" he said. "Sounds good to me," Mabel May said. "When the knight charges you, you turn into the border of the page and you'll have him surrounded." "That sounds good," Harry beamed. Mabel May waved her magic wand and said the magic words. "Fairy power, dragon power, we're both in a rage. Make old Harry the border of the page." Once again, Harry went to fight the knight. As soon as the knight charged, Harry repeated the magic words to himself, and instantly he turned into the border of the page. The knight looked around for Harry, but he couldn't find him. Harry was just about ready to pounce on the knight when the knight struck his sword into the ground, which was really Harry. Ow! Harry cried. He had lost again. The knight rode off into the woods, and Harry went home to play his flute. Miss Fernandez is so sad that I must stop and I don't have time to finish this story. I love The Dragon Takes a Wife by Walter Dean Myers, and I hope you have learned to love it too. And hopefully, you will have a teacher or family friend or loved one who can finish this amazing story with you. Thank you so much for allowing me to read to you today. Have a wonderful day. Happy Black History Month.
Wow, that was an amazing piece by Walter Dean Myers. Great job, Nicole. Nicole is just such a powerful voice, and we're very lucky to have her here in Hopkins. Next up, we have a sixth grader from Tanglin Elementary, Devin Robinson, who will be reading one of my all-time favorites, The Crossover by Kwame Alexander.
Hi, my name is Devin, and today I am reading Crossover by Kwame Alexander. Alright. Josh Bell is my name, but Filthy McNasty is my claim to fame. Folks call me that because my game's acclaimed. Ooh, rhymes. So downright dirty, I'll put you to shame. My hair so long, my height so tall. See, I'm the next Kevin Durant, LeBron, and Chris Paul. Alright. Remember the greats. My dad likes to gloat. I balled with Magic and the GOAT. But tricks are for kids, I reply. I don't need your pets. My game's so fly. Mom says, your dad's old school, like an old Chevrolet. You're fresh and new like a red Corvette. Your game's so sweet, it's crust souvette. Each time you play, it's all net. If anyone else called me fresh and sweet, I'd burn mad as a flame. But I know she's only talking about my game. See, when I play ball, I'm on fire. When I shoot, I inspire. The hoop's for sale, and I'm the buyer. How I got my nickname. I'm not that big on jazz music, but Dad is. One day we were listening to a CD of a musician named Horace Silver. Horace, actually, my bad. Horace Silver. And Dad says, Josh, this cat is the real deal. Playing that piano fast and free, just like you and JB on the court. It's okay, I guess. Dad. Okay? Did you say okay? Well, you better recognize the greatness when you hear it. Horace Silver is one of the hippiest. If you shoot half as good as he jams, no one says hippiest anymore. Well, they ought to, because this cat is so hip. When he sits down, he's still standing. He says, real funny, Dad. You know what, Josh? What, Dad? I'm dedicating this next song to you. What next song? Only the best song, the funkiest song, on Silver's Paris Blues album, Filthy McNasty. That's how he got his nickname. At first, I didn't like the name because so many kids made fun of me on the school bus, at lunch, and in the bathroom. Even Mom had jokes. It fits you perfectly, Josh, she said. You never clean your closet, and that bed of yours is always filled with cookie crumbs and candy wrappers. It's just plain nasty, son. But as I got older, I started getting game. The name took on a new meaning, and even though I wasn't into all of that jazz, every time I'd score, rebound, or steal the ball, Dad would jump up, smiling and screaming. That's my boy out there. Keep it funky, filthy. And that made me feel good about my nickname. Filthy McNasty is a mythical man-child of rather debauchous distraction, always educating, combining, and elevating his game. He dribbles, fakes, takes to rock to the glass, fast and on blast. But watch out when he shoots, or you'll get schooled, fooled, uncooled. Because when Filthy gets hot, he's a slamorific shot. It's dunk lascious, classy, supersonic, sassy, and downright in your face, McNasty. Jordan Bell, my twin brother, is a baller. The only thing he loves more than basketball is betting. If it's 90 degrees outside and the sun is cloudless, he will bet you it's going to rain. It's annoying and sometimes funny. Jordan insists that everyone call him JB. His favorite player is Michael Jordan, but he doesn't want people to think he's sweating him, even though he is. Evidence, he only has one pair of Air Jordan sneakers for every month of the year, including Air Jordan's one low Barack Obama limited editions, which he never wears.
Devin, if you're watching, great job. It's just awesome when our young people step up to
Hi,
the plate
my name is Devin.
and allow themselves to achieve the things that they want to do and to really dive into literacy and enjoy literacy as well. So great job, Devin. Next up, we have Ugbag Dek from Hopkins High School, who will be reading another one of my favorite authors, Jason Reynolds. She'll be reading A Long Way Down.
My name is Ugbad Dek. I'm reading Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds. Don't nobody believe nothing these days, which is why I haven't told nobody the story I'm about to tell you. And truth is, you probably ain't gonna believe it either. Gonna think I'm lying or I'm losing it, but I'm telling you, the story is true. It happened to me. Really, it did. It so did. My name is William Holloman, but to my friends and people who know me just Will. So call me Will, because after I tell you what I'm about to tell you, you'll either want to be my friend or not want to be my friend at all. Either way, you'll know me. I'm only William to my mother and my brother Sean whenever he was trying to be funny. Now, I'm wishing I would have laughed more at his damn jokes, because the day before yesterday, Sean was shot and killed. I don't know you, don't know your last name. If you got brothers or sisters or mothers or fathers or cousins that be like brothers and sisters, or aunties or uncles that be like mothers and fathers. But if the blood inside you is the inside of someone else, you never want to see it on the outside of them. The sadness is just so hard to explain. Imagine waking up and someone, a stranger, got you strapped down, got pliers shoved into your mouth, gripping a tooth somewhere in the back, one of the big important ones, and rips it out. Imagine the knocking in your head, the pressure pushing through your ears, the blood pulling, but the worst part, the absolute worst part, is the constant slipping of your tongue into the new empty space, where you know a tooth's supposed to be, but ain't no more. It's so hard to say, Sean's dead, Sean's dead, Sean's dead. So strange to say, so sad, but I guess not surprising, which is I guess is even stranger and even sadder.
Again, another one of our young Hopkins scholars stepping up to the plate. If you haven't read any of Jason Reynolds' books, he's amazing. Ghost is one that many of our youth really, really enjoy. Next up, we have a sixth grade teacher from Hopkins, Jessica Winnie, who's also the author of her own book, Everything I Am, also the owner of a growing business called Minnesota Black Box. And she'll be reading Black Boy by Crown Shepherd.
Welcome. I am Jessica Winnie, and I'm going to be reading Black Boy, written by Crown Shepherd, illustrated by Michael Batson. For all the black boys out there dreaming, be creative, be fearless, dream big. Black boy, what do you see? I see a beautiful, strong black man looking at me. I am him. He is me. Black boy, what do you see? I see a teacher looking at me. He likes books, just like me. Black boy, what do you see? I see a doctor looking at me. He likes to help people, just like me. Black boy, what do you see? I see a judge looking at me. He is fair, just like me. Black boy, what do you see? I see an athlete looking at me. He is strong, just like me. Black boy, what do you see? I see a mechanic looking at me. He likes to fix cars, just like me. Black boy, what do you see? I see a president looking at me. He is powerful, just like me. Black boy, what do you see? I see an artist looking at me. He's creative, just like me. Black boy, what do you see? I see an astronaut looking at me. He's amongst the stars, just like me. Black boy, what do you see? I see an engineer looking at me. He's building a robot, just like me. Black boy, what do you see? I see a firefighter looking at me. He likes to fight fires, just like me. Black boys, what do you see? I see me looking at me, and I see a bright future ahead of me. If you can read, you can learn. If you can learn, you can grow. And if you can grow, you can be anything. Crown Shepherd.
That was an excellent book for so many reasons. Just being a black male and, growing up being taught to dream, and, you it's tough. But I always remember, my mom and my dad always told me that you can be anything that you want to be, and our black boys, they need to hear that um, loud and clear from everyone. So I appreciate that piece. Thank you, Miss Winnie. Next up, we have another Tangling Tiger, sixth grader Tristan Ray Taylor, who will be reading The Mighty Miss Malone from Christopher Paul Curtis.
My name is Tristan Ray Taylor, and I'm going to be reading The Mighty Miss Malone by Christopher Paul Curtis. Part 1, Gang Arft Egg, late May 1936, Gary, India. Chapter 1, Journey to a Wonderful. Once upon a time, if I could get away with it, that's how I'd begin every essay I write. Those are the 4 best words to use when you start telling about yourself, because anything that begins that way always finishes with another 4 words. They lived happily ever after. And that's a good ending for any story. I shut my dictionary and thesaurus and went back over my essay for the last time. The best teacher in the world, Miss Karen Needham, had given us a assignment to write about our families. I knew, just like always, she was gonna love mine. She'd always ask for 2 pages. She'd only ask for 2 pages, but this was our last essay for the year, so I wrote 6. Once upon a time, in Gary, India, lived a family of 3 very special, very happy, and uniquely talented people. I am the 4th member of that family, and much too modest to include myself in a grandiose description of their exalted number. But many people say I am the same ilk, and for that I remain eternally grateful. My mother, Miss Margaret Peggy Stephen Manley, was born here in Gary, India. She is willow and radiant and blindingly beautiful. She is also very intelligent. She has a great job cleaning for the Cardale family. Yes, the Cardale family. The family whose parish is the president of the Gary Citizens Bank. Her most endearing trait is that she is the glue holding this family together. Diza, I jumped and my pencil flew out of my hand. When I'm writing or reading a book, everything else around me disappears. Father says it's because I've settled into what I'm doing, the same way my brother Jimmy does when he's singing. Jimmy, I told you not to sneak up on me like that when I'm writing. He handed me the pencil. I couldn't help it, sis. You are so far gone. What are you writing? My last essay for Miss Needham. You know, a lot of people are saying her not coming back to teach is the best thing that ever happened at Lincoln Woods School. James Maloney, if I ever give one half a hoot what a lot of people are saying, you have my permission to slap me silly. Miss Needham is the best teacher in the world. Now, if you don't mind, I never bother you when you're singing. Don't bother me when I'm writing. But lots of people love listening to me sing these. Seems to me like only you, that little pest, Clarcy Annie Johnson, and Miss Needham likes reading what you write. Jimmy is one of those people who can say anything that might sound mean at first, but when he smiles and makes his eyebrows jump up and down, you can't help smiling. He gets this deep dimply in his right cheek, and you end up laughing right along with him. My dearest friend Clarcy Annie Johnson has a horrible and completely understandable crush on Jimmy. She says she bets she she says she bets you can pour cornflakes in his dimple and eat them out with a spoon. I'm just hoping Clarcy's taste in boys improve as she gets older. Jimmy, please. Sorry, sis, I'm heading out. Can I do anything for you before I split? No, thanks. Just make sure you're back for supper. I looked at Miss Needham's instructions again. What is the most annoying trait of some of your family members? That was easy to come up with for Father and Jimmy, but couldn't think of a single annoying trait from Mother. I wrote, Mother's pet peeve is that she always hates the way a lot of people are mean to Jimmy for no reason. Her dreams are to see Father get a job where he doesn't always get laid off, Jimmy to start growing again and be happy, and to watch me graduate from college and be a teacher. My father, Mr. Roscoe Melanie, was born in a village in Michigan called Flint, which is geologically located 250 miles northeast of Gary. For some reason that none of us can understand, he is very proud of this. He is tall and strikingly handsome. He is also intelligent and well-read. He toils and labors most of the companies doing work in a horrible hot furnace and sometimes being a janitor. His most annoying trait is the way he uses every alliteration every chance he has. I looked up from my paper. That is so true, but I wonder for a minute if I should put in the essay, it isn't like he can't help himself. He is always calling his daughter Deza, and I'm supposed to answer that he is my dearest, delightful daddy. He calls Jimmy that genuine giant, gentle, jumping giant. And Jimmy's supposed to call him fine, friendly father figure, matriarch. But she says she won't respond because she refuses to play silly word games with a hard-headed husband who hasn't heard how horrible he is. Mother told me such nonsense is the blood and millions and should be happy that so far it looks like it hasn't inherited any of it. It looks like you haven't inherited any of it.
Great job, Tristan. I definitely have connections to that piece. Majority of my family is from Gary, Indiana. Many of my grandfather, aunts and uncles moved from the South to Gary, Indiana to seek work. So that was a great piece. Definitely have connections to that. Next up, we have a fourth grade teacher from Eisenhower Jing Spanish Immersion. Another powerful voice, May Gruss, who will be reading a piece from Nikki Grimes called My Man Blue.
There's power in the name of reading. Hey, I'm May Gruss. I teach 4th grade at Eisenhower Xing. I'm going to share some poems by Nikki Grimes from the book My Man Blue. I think it's backwards in the screen, but here we go reading. The first selection I'm reading is called Damon and Blue. Damon and Blue, just us two, cruising up the avenue. You strut, you glide, but mark our stride. Can't beat us when we're side by side. This is a book of poems by Nikki Grimes, and it's amazing. Class bully. A bully kicks me in the knee. That bully's name is Tiffany. I fume, but I don't return the blow. Guys don't hit girls, Blue says, and so I grab her wrists till she calms down, while laughing, jeering kids stand round and shout, you wimp, but they're all wrong. It's guys who don't hit girls who are strong. Yeah, he's got it right. The next selection I'm reading is called My Own Man. Again, this is a book of poems by Nikki Grimes. My own man. When Mom works late, I wait with busy hands, pry soup cans open, spread spicy mustard on rye with lettuce and tomatoes, slice so thin the cheese peeks through. It's my cheddar deluxe, which Mom loves. Better than anything I cook. The boys next door say, "How's that look? You fixin' supper like some girl." I shrug off their teasing and go on pleasing me. I read my books, choose jazz and rap, and quiet over chatter. Blue says, "What's the matter with that?" And if I take care of my mom, so what? She takes care of me. Don't be no mama's boy, kids say. Well, tough. I'm made this way. My own man. And the final selection I'm reading is called My Man Blue. His leathery skin's like indigo ink. This rugged dude who some folk think looks fierce in clothes of midnight black. Then there's his teeth, one gold, three cracked. And I suppose the shades could go. He wears them night and day, I know. Still underneath this shell, Blue hides a harmless, gentle giant side. My man Blue. There is power in poetry. There is power in reading. There is power in knowledge. There is power in who we are meant to be. Mae Gruss, 4th grade teacher.
Not only does she teach and read, but she sings. Mae Gruss, very talented. Next up, we have a Hopkins High School student, Imani Kirimangi, who will be reading a piece from scholar activist Sonia Sanchez called "This Is Not a Small Voice."
Hello everyone, my name is Imani Karamongi and I am a junior at Hopkins High School. The poem I've chosen to read for you all today is This Is Not a Small Voice by Sonia Sanchez. A little bit about Sanchez. She was born in 1934 in Birmingham, Alabama, and she was an extremely influential part of the Black Arts movement. She worked with many other well-known poets such as Amiri Baraka as well. For a time, she worked as an activist with CORE, the Congress of Racial Equality, during the 60s. Since then, Sanchez has written countless poems, plays, children's books, and from that has won dozens of awards. More specifically about the poem, it is meant to inspire young people of color to rise against fear, hate, judgment, and prejudice. The theme of this poem is empowerment through learning and love. Sanchez celebrated the power of education and love due to the strength that comes with them, and through this poem, she wants the readers and listeners to understand that This Is Not a Small Voice by Sonia Sanchez. This is not a small voice, you hear? This is a large voice coming out of these cities. This is the voice of Latanya, Kadisha, Shaniqua. This is the voice of Antoine, Daryl, Shaquille. Running over waters, navigating the hallways of our schools, spilling out on the corners of our cities, and no epitaphs spill out of their river mouths. This is not a small love, you hear? This is a large love, a passion for kissing leaning on its face. This is a love that crowns the feet with hands, that nourishes, conceives, feels the water sails, mends the children, folds them inside our history, where they toast more than flesh, where they suck the bones of the alphabet, and spit out closed vowels. This is a love colored with iron and lace. This is a love initialed Black Genius. This is not a small voice, you hear? Thank you for listening.
Wow. Incredible piece. Definitely speaks to the times that we're in right now. Thank you for that, Imani. Next up, we have another Tanglin Tiger, 6th grader, reading another one of my favorite authors, Jerry Craft. Khalees Williams will be reading Class Act by Jerry Craft.
Hi, my name is Khalees, and today I'm going to be reading Class Act by Jerry Craft. Don't fret, Andy. Here at Rad, we don't see color, we see green. Regard, that's enough. Can anyone offer any comments that are helpful or supportive? Mr. Crandall, my dad's a doctor, so I know what those bumps on his arms are called. Thank you so much, Summer. Hulk smash. And then Simar, Drew dances party too. Dude, you gotta lay off the baked goods. You don't want to end up with diabetes. No, it's not that. Not totally anyways. Take a look at that. Look, it's Pico for Dragon Ball Z. I mean, Piccolo. No, it's literally the Green Lantern. Wait, how come he's still green? Because the universe is smiling down at me. And also his brother Calm switched his dye. That's unbelievable. His brother named Kyle. I know, right? This just keeps getting better. Hey, did you just see? Yeah, did you just see? Hey, did you just see? Yeah, we did. Isn't life wonderful? I don't know. I kind of feel bad for him. Of course you do, Jordan. But do you think he'd feel bad for you? Probably not, but still. Hey, you guys want to come over to my house during break? Sure, yeah, I'll be by myself most of the time anyways, so that'd be cool. Just don't tell Andy. He'll be green. He'll be green with anger. Ugh. Excuse me, Drew, do you think you have a minute? I'm sure. Is everything okay? Absolutely. I have a request for you. In an effect of promote disorder, here's a rad. We adopted a sister school, Candy Brad Junior High in South Bronx, aka Cardi DB Academy. We're invited a few 8th graders in for a tour. Hope they'll be enrolling next year. We'd like for you and Maury to act some ambushes to help show them around. Okay, but why Maury? Why not Jordan, Mr. Roch? We think Maury looks like the kid who will be coming. Yeah, but Jordan probably acts a lot like them. But okay, if you say so. Thank you, Drew. They'll be here 2 weeks from now on. I'll email you the details. Okay? Hey, Drew, want to see my new No, Graham. Chapter 5. Chapter 5, Oh Melt. 2 weeks later, I had my interview at High School of Music Arts and on Saturday. Right. How did it go? You seemed like you had... And that's the end. Bye.
Great job, Khalees. Another great author. If you haven't read The New Kid, that is another hot book with our youth. Next up, we have Tangela Irby, who is a local author and educator who will be reading her own piece called Pearl and G-Ben's Quilt.
So I just want to say hello to my old and new friends. But I'm here today to share with you my very newest project. I have written a book, and the title of the book is Pearl and Her G's Bend Quilt. So for those of you who may not know, G's Bend is an area in Alabama that has really become known in the public eye because of the beautiful quilts that are made by the women who live there. These quilts have traveled all over the world. They are in the Whitney Museum. They've been in the Smithsonian Museum. Just a month ago, they had a show that was even in London. And so I am fortunate enough to be a descendant of G's Bend. That means that my grandparents were from G's Bend, Alabama. And both of my grandmothers were quilters. And so in this story, Pearl and Her G's Bend Quilt, I talk about some of the things that I've learned about my heritage. Now, Pearl happens to be my grandmother, Pearlie Kennedy Petway. The book is named after her. Of course, I did not call her Pearl. I did not call her Pearlie. We called her Mama. We called her Mama because that's what she told us to call her. That is what my mother called her. So she was Mama to all of us. And on the cover of this book, Pearl is actually holding one of Mama's quilts. This quilt is owned by our family and was made many years ago. And the quilts now are being sold, especially the older ones, are being sold for $10,000 or more. And so I know a lot of people don't have $10,000 to purchase a quilt, including me. But I wanted people to have a piece of my family history. So in this book, you will also see other quilts that are owned by my family. So let's get into the story. Pearl and Her G's Bend Quilt. It was written by Tangela A. Irby and illustrated by India Shiana. On a lazy Sunday afternoon, Pearl sat playing in the living room with her friends, Sally and Ella, as the aroma of homemade biscuits, smothered chicken, rice, collard greens from the garden, and Grandma's famous tea cakes filled the house. "Wow, that quilt is amazing," Sally said. "My mom has quilts like this at our house. Grandma told me I come from a long line of G's Bend quilters whose quilts have been displayed in galleries and museums all over," Pearl proudly boasted. "When I get older, I'm going to make quilts too, and one of my quilts will hang over there one day." Pearl pointed to the empty space where she intended to display her work. Here is another family treasure that we own. And there is the spot where Pearl said her quilt will hang one day. That's pretty neat. But what are G's Bend quilts? I've never heard of that before, Sally asked, wide-eyed. Pearl sat up straight with confidence. Back when Grandma was younger, the house she lived in didn't have any heat, so she and her siblings used quilts to keep warm during winter. The families who lived in G's Bend, Alabama were very large. Some had 10 or more children, so they needed lots of quilts. They would tear up old clothing to use for fabric. The women would move from house to house quilting during the evening. During the day, many of them worked at the Freedom Quilting Bee. They would use sewing machines to piece together the tops, but they quilted them together by hand. Sally and Ella listened in amazement, surprised that their play date had turned into a fantastic lesson about Pearl's family history. Grandma always says quilts are like your handwriting, Pearl explained. She says every quilt should be different from everyone else's. I asked Grandma how she comes up with so many different designs. She told me she talks to God when she quilts, and he gives her an idea every time. I told her that I'm not sure that I will be able to quilt the way she does, but she told me you can only do your best. You cannot do mine. Helping Grandma is exciting, Pearl tossed her hands in the air with a sweet smile. I get to pick the pieces of fabric that she will use next or thread the tiny needle. Sometimes I thread 3 or 4 so that they will be ready when she needs them. Sally and Ella lay on their bellies as Pearl recounted the rest of her story, her voice rising and falling like she was singing a song. Grandma says quilting isn't always easy. Sometimes the fabric is thick, and she has to use a thimble to keep from pricking herself. One time she stuck herself, and I could tell she was vexed. But no matter what, Grandma keeps quilting. It sounds like your grandma knows what she's doing, Ella said. I bet you can't make one. Yes, I can, Pearl blurted in response to Ella's challenge. Since you think you know everything, listen to this. The most important part of the quilt is the top. To make her special designs, Grandma sews many different scraps together. Sometimes she uses my old clothes that don't fit anymore or Grandpa's old t-shirts. Pearl spoke quickly, telling everything she learned, but paused to take a breath before starting again. When the top is finished, the rest of the quilt is ready to be stitched together. Did you know that? Pearl crossed her arms in satisfaction when Sally and Ella shook their heads, then went on. The middle layer is called the batting. When Grandma was little, sharecroppers grew the cotton and they would pick, then flatten it for the quilts. Next comes the backing. Quilters used to use 25-pound flour sacks for the backing. But now we can go to the store to buy everything that we need. Do you have any questions? Pearl asked her friends. No, they answered in unison. Good, Pearl said. Now when all of the pieces are together, the backing is folded to the front and the quilt is binded together. Some people quilt straight lines, crooked lines, patterns, or designs. Sometimes Grandma follows the designs on the quilt top. Then there are times when she sews puzzle patterns. She says that it depends on what God says when they talk. I like looking at the back of the quilt to see her designs. Wow, Pearl, you are right, Ella explained. You know a lot about quilting. Grandma says that me and my cousins need to learn so that the world will know about our quilts too. The girls hadn't noticed that Grandma sneaked in to eavesdrop and hear Pearl teaching her friends so well. She held a few quilts in her arms as she addressed the girls with a sweet smile. It sounds like Pearl has been watching and listening. Grandma beamed with pride. She knows all about our family quilts and where they came from. We didn't have a lot of money back then, but we always had our quilts. Our elders gave us quilts as gifts, especially when we moved up north. We got them when we married. We even got them when we came back down south for visits. Ella and Sally, I have a gift for you. Here are your very own G's Ben quilts. Take good care of them. Grandma handed each girl a quilt and was delighted to hear them squeal with excitement. On the back of your quilts, I have signed my name and written the name of the quilt. No one else has a quilt like yours. One day, you can pass it down to your own children and tell them the story of G's Thin Quilts.
Wow, that was amazing. So many connections to that piece. Before my grandmother passed in the mid-90s, she had a quilt that she gave to my mother, and I just remember having that quilt and sleeping with that quilt all the time. So definitely have some connections to that piece there. Thank you. Next up, we have another Tangling Tiger, 6th grader, Shella Zuzu Hugh, who will be reading an incredible piece by Matthew Cherry called Hair Love.
Hi, my name is Shella, and today I'm going to be reading Hair Love by Matthew A. Cherry, illustrated by Vashti Harrison. My name is Zuri, and I have hair that has a mind of its own. It kinks, coils, and curls every which way. Daddy tells me it is beautiful, that makes me proud. I love that my hair lets me be me. In funky braids and beads, I am a princess. And when my hair is in 2 puffs, I am above the clouds like a superhero. My hair even does magic tricks. One day Rocky and I were playing outside when along came the rain. From large to small it went. Presto, just like that. There was nothing my hair can't do. Today I woke up extra early all by myself. I was too excited to sleep. It's a big day. Daddy was still asleep. Shh, I said to Rocky as we tiptoed past him. Lately, Daddy has been worn out. He makes me breakfast, takes me to school, goes to work, picks me up, and yesterday we went for a bike ride around the park. I think he needs a break. Because of today is special, I want a perfect hairstyle. This calls for a professional touch. Pause off, Rocky. Daddy heard the crash. Zuri, what on earth? He asked. I was only trying to help, I said. Daddy smiled. Can I help too? It'll be a piece of cake, Zuzu. The first style was a big no way. The second was no better. No, Daddy. Then Daddy slicking my hair back into 2 puffs. Ouch, Daddy yelled. Wait a minute. Daddy said as he reached into the drawer and pulled out a pick. Ta-da! Daddy, really? I said. I'll be right back, he promised. Now how's that? He asked, pulling a hat down over my eyes. Daddy, come on, we can do better than that. I really need my hair to be special. Don't worry, he said, we'll figure this out. Then I had a great idea. Daddy gathered all the tools we needed and we were set. Watching carefully, Daddy combed, parted, oiled, and twisted. He nailed it. Funky puff buns, pretty, and so much fun, Rocky approved too. I put on superhero cape and as a final touch to a perfect look. Where's my Zuzu? Mom called from the door. She could not get in the house fast enough. Mommy, you've got to be the prettiest Supergirl I have ever seen, she said. And your hair is beautiful, Zuri. Who did it? I looked at Daddy and beamed. Mommy smiled very nice. Thank you. We learned from the best, Daddy said as we gave her a big hug. My hair is Mommy, Daddy, and me. It's hair love. The end.
Great job, Shella. Hair Love. If you haven't seen the short film, make sure you tune into that. It's great. I got three daughters at home, and that's the biggest thing me and my wife, we try to teach our young girls to just love your hair, regardless of what it looks like when you wake up in the morning or when they go to bed at night. Just love your hair. Last but not least, we have another Hopkins employee. She is the family liaison at Eisenhower Xinjiang Spanish Immersion. Her name is Charmaine Bell. And she'll be performing a piece by the great Ella Fitzgerald called Summertime.
Hello everyone, my name is Charmaine Bell and I am the family liaison at Eisenhower Xinjiang Spanish Immersion School. Today I will sing for you Summertime by Ella Fitzgerald. Summertime and the living is easy. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high. Your daddy's rich and your mama's good looking. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. One of these mornings, you're gonna rise up singing, and you'll spread your wings, and you'll take to the sky. But till that morning, there is nothing can harm you. With mommy and daddy standing by. Summertime, and the living is easy. Fish are jumping, and the cotton is high. Your daddy's rich, and your mama's good looking. So hush, little baby, don't you cry.
Wow. What a way to close out the 2021 African American reading. Charmaine is another amazing addition to our Hopkins family. Thank you for that, Charmaine. In the chat, there will be a Google form for a raffle drawing in regards to books that will be given away for participating and attending the African American read-in. It's just been an amazing time, just hearing all the great readers, the great African American literature, and I hope, everyone enjoyed their time, and most importantly, I hope you found some new authors that you can go out and grab some of those books in your local library, school library, Amazon, Target, wherever they're selling books, you might find these pieces. Special shout out to our Hopkins media specialists, technology staff, Holly Thompson, Amy Codette, Carol Tracy, Tracy Beaverson, Hannah Colbert, Rob Trenda, Jennifer Piazza, Jen Wallace, Steve Warner, Kevin Noonan, and some donations from our Hopkins Spirit Shop. It was truly a collaborative effort. We couldn't have done this without all of these individuals taking their time over the past month to meet on Fridays and to just really put forth all their effort to make Black history come alive in Hopkins. So again, thank you again for taking the time out of your evening to just be here with us and listen to our great scholars and staff who really poured their hearts into the pieces that they read. With that being said, thanks again, and we looking to a bigger and better event next year in 2022. Fingers crossed. Thank you.